Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me. My name's Arcadian, the #1 dumpster tier gamer, and today I've got something special for you. This is a project that's been months in the making. If you don't know, I am a big fan of the Monster Hunter franchise. My first real dive into Monster Hunter was Monster Hunter Worlds, but I've played Monster Hunter games across the Nintendo Switch, the Nintendo DS, and then also PC and Xbox and PlayStation. So that leads us into this project that we're in today. Wilds, if you've been living under a rock, maybe you don't know, but Monster Hunter Wilds, the next kind of step in the Monster Hunter franchise, is coming out at the beginning of the 2025 year. Now, we don't know exactly a release date for that yet. It's my assumption it's going to be somewhere in between January and March. But there's no guarantee on that. It could go later, it could go, I don't think it'll go any earlier than that. But with that being said, the videos, the Monster Hunter, Capcom has released a bunch of videos showcasing the 14 weapon types that are so far known. We may be lucky and tomorrow they drop a 15th weapon into that, which would be phenomenal, by the way. But as of what we know right now, there's 14 weapon types, and it added in a new excitement for me to play through this game, and kind of do a kind of event leading into when Monster Hunter Worlds Wilds drops. So that's where we are today. So without further ado, I'm going to bring you my newest project, Worlds Till Wilds. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Now I am going to be starting a fresh new game. The reason why I am doing this is because if you don't want to start from part of the way through. Alright, so I can already see it in the comments. I'm going to get asked, what in the world am I listening to? I have this currently set to the Monster Hunter language. I just feel like the audio sync up with the video. Just it breaks immersion if I have it under the English as the voiceover language. If that becomes annoying to you and you don't like it, I can make adjustments and put that back on. So this has been a brainchild that I've kind of wanted to do for a long time, but I've never had a graphics card strong enough that was able to do it. So I've played this game multiple times. My graphics card is fine for that, but playing and recording at the same time never really worked out well.
Terrier, Manual fra la Regina. Rabe Rushi, Ya Yura, Tabe 3 Gide.
Le, Miss Guard, girlfriend.
Ah, Tori, even na. Le, Miss Oine.
I never realized this, but the actual audio sync is not very great with this either. So I'm going to go ahead and create the character, and I will be back. This is, if you don't know, this is actually really pretty involved. There's a lot of stuff here, and I don't want it to take away from the gameplay. So I'm going to pause this and create my character, and then I will be right back with you. Alright, I'm back now, and this is what we're gonna go with. This is gonna be our character. So So a little bit of eye candy for you guys. Hopefully you enjoy it. I think this fits pretty well, and I'm just very particular to the gingers myself, especially those blue-eyed ones. So let's go ahead and name our character. We are going to call her Arcacia. Not Archacia, Arcacia. There we go, right like that. And then we're going to go ahead and get started on our cat. Now I'm just going to do this one on camera because we're not going to do anything crazy here. This one's actually fairly quick and easy in most cases. We will make his fur nice and thick. Nice and long, nice and thick. We're going to have him be... Let's take off the pattern here. We're going to go with this pattern. And then we want, let's see here, we want this one to be like that. And then we want that one to be like that. And then we want this. Actually, we're going to do this one ourselves. I think it's there. Some high saturation in there, and get some high brightness in there. Nice white and yellow. Trying to decide if it's better to go white and yellow, or is it better to go the... Oh, that pops a lot more. Let's do that. I think I like that a lot better. And then we can change that to that. And then his eyes, we're gonna go with kind of like that, with those. And then we're also gonna make his eyes a nice bright yellow. There we go. His ears are good. His tail is good. Yeah. And there we go. And we're gonna call him Bolt. Like a bolt of lightning. And there we go. We got Arcacia and Bolt.
Better?
Garurilla! All three! Lara!
Yeah, I've never noticed that the even with the Monster Hunter language, the lip function does not fit right. So after this first episode, I'm definitely going to change that. We'll put it back onto English.
Refatiro, Ledom Kikra, Gardo, Sodre Mar, Memtation to Ashi, Ledom At.
Miraba, Garfrak, Lutar Firvik, Lua, Raditidara.
So we have all 14 weapon variants that we know of. They may add in a new weapon variant tomorrow, which would be an awesome reveal. That would be kind of cool. But I don't necessarily see that as a possibility. I don't think it won't do. everybody gives a handler a hard time, but I mean, like, yeah, she makes some bad choices. She gets herself in trouble a lot, but she's really not that annoying. Everybody's already going bonkers for the new waifu character in Monster Hunter Wilds, which I will admit, she looks absolutely gorgeous. But all fan fiction people out there need to take it down a notch. My buddy's really into that, and he's been sending me those pictures, and I'm like, dude, chill. I got a family. I don't need to be in trouble. Alright. So you do have to bear with me here a little bit. It has been a while since I have played. So, I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring lately, trying to 100% that game. So it's kind of, you're going to have to bear with me. I'm going to have to get used to the controls. I will say this, the cinematic side of this game was phenomenal, dude. The first chance I get where I can exit and save, I'm gonna go back to the start screen so that I can change that language around. How crazy detailed the world is, dude. And this is the only reason why I wasn't able to fully invest into Rise. Like, I liked Rise. I thought the game was very good, but the ecology, the vastness of the maps, the detail, it wasn't as impressive as this game was. Like, I feel like this game kind of set a standard, and the Rise didn't meet that standard very well. Pause it? No, I cannot. I think I have to get through all this first. So she found a map. She wants us to open up the map, and then she's going to point out the location of the commission. How about now? Can we now? Ooh, yes, we can now. Okay. I don't know why it popped out like that. Let's go. Oh, we still can't save. Okay. And here's your real first look into the ecology of the area. You can see just how detailed everything is. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now I believe I'm seeing this in 2K graphics, but for you guys it's scaled down to 1080p. Even with the 1080p, it's still phenomenally graphical. The foliage is great, the shadows are awesome. My computer seems to be holding up pretty well, which is nice. It better. I got a new graphics card a little while ago, and that's what I'm using right now is that new graphics card. A massive upgrade from what I was using before. So I'm going to try to keep the hour and a half videos. I don't want to go super crazy long because I know that can be kind of a sticking point for some people. Not a lot of people have a whole lot of time to just sit down and watch an hour and a half long video. But if I go too short, if I go like half-hour long videos, you're not going to get much content. So this game is pretty massive. It's very grindy. So I feel like hour and a half is a good kind of setup that will allow me to get through the game, but not be overly too long. Also, like I said before, this game is very grindy, so there are going to be times where I'm going to have to hunt a monster multiple times. If that's something that you don't want to see, then leave me a comment and let me know. Depending on how everybody feels, I may do those kind of extra hunts off recording. I may do them as like a live stream type thing rather than be like a recorded playthrough, kind of like what I'm doing right now. So if that's the case, let me know. I'm just going to hang around here because she's just going to call me back here anyway. Okay, so she's going to have us go run over, check out the more tracks over here. And this is the second instance where she gets herself into trouble. Seems like she does it quite often. She gets attacked by great joggers. We're running to the rescue and someone reaches to it. Carrying a massive sword on his back. I guess he figures that he can't fight the weapon without risking someone getting hurt. And big old Angie. That is the Anjanath, very dangerous monster for us at this moment. Angie be scared. And now we have made it to Astera.
Kungaro, tu haktomi ada morej. Hashfa fareli tu Astera.
Ready to Astera.
Shisodore ojiga hai. Lata.
So from what I'm told, the Monster Hunter language is kind of like a mixture of a bunch of languages. I don't know how true that is, but it's supposedly like a mixture of like Japanese, Spanish, Korean,
ルダフラ
a few different things.
Usamna. Laguniterak Numora. Numuremora.
映画ファストクーテスファルノ流域ホラス
Oh! Sinitre! Ra Lagna!
Mora Tekinada. Shiri Faraknes.
タハラモベラ
That's all. Teshku Sud, Mutoku Deolak, Kesokureo, Malay. Ukohara Husmalaku. Shisumi Shihaku, Haza. Let's see, Narama. Fumi! Gartza!
Here's a commander, the leader of the first fleet. So he's just saying that he's too busy, he can't really talk to us at the moment, but he will sound a horn when it's time to bring us in for the council, and then he'll explain kind of the situation.
端にラテノ
Let's see, we're still not able... Oh, yes, we can. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's return to title. It'll save our progress. They'll kind of stick back there where we saved, so once we come back in... Let's go to options and audio, nope, language. We'll switch to English. I think it'll be better for English for the live play anyway, or not the live play, but the playthrough anyway, for the recording.
Okay, I'll give you the grand tour. Let's start by looking for your palico. This is our stockpile. They carry most of the basic necessities.
You should drop by later to see what they have.
So the premise of this game, it's an action RPG. You are part of the Research Commission. Basically, what happens is that the Research Commission
Next is the smithy. It's this way.
researches and tries to understand the monsters of the world. Now, every 10 years, a calamity-type monster called an Elder Dragon travels from the old world to the new world, and you're part of the commission that's trying to figure out why that happens. Why do they make that migration?
My grandfather was with the first. That was a long time ago. Me.
So that's the whole premise of it. Now, the calamity-type monster, these are monsters that just absolutely can destroy ecosystems on their own, within their own power. Not like the Jagras and the Anjanath that we just saw. They're kind of like they can kind of impact their habitat, but not necessarily full ecosystems. Whereas an Elder Dragon can impact entire ecosystems completely.
Look at this place. Want to check it out?
So we followed the migration of Zora Magdaros, the latest of the Elder Dragons, to make the migration over here to the new world. And it is our job to figure out why. Now, we are the 5th team sent from the old world to the new world. We are the 5th commission, which means that there were 4 others. And the people that are here already that have helped set up these camps, they were part of 1 through 4.
This here's our canteen.
And we found Bolt Pack.
Hey, you! I knew you'd pull through.
Right. We're calling for a council. Come on.
Yeah.
Now that you are all here, let us begin council. After tracking a migrating Elder Dragon across the sea, the Fifth Fleet have finally arrived in Astera. Give them a warm welcome. They're a fine group, worthy comrades who will help see the Research Commission's long efforts finally rewarded. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, sir. We're
I'm
ready to roll
confused at
up our
why
sleeves
we
and get
were
our hands
made
dirty.
to be the
This here is the Commission's
the,
core
the
team.
the leaders
Should
of
all
the
get to
Fifth
know each
Fleet
other.
or of the Fifth
Looking
Commission.
forward to it.
Now, down to business. The latest monster to make the Elder Crossing is known as Zora Magdaros, a huge monster with a mountain of fire upon its back. The Research Commission's job is to discover exactly why the Elder Dragons are migrating to the New World.
Elder dragons have been with us since the dawn of time, altering the ecosystem, reshaping the land, leaving disaster in their wake. Once every decade or so, they flock to this continent. But for what reason?
With the Fifth's help, we will find the missing link.
Here, here.
Now we're talking!
Hunters, for the time being, I need you to focus on investigating our Jagras problem and securing Astera. Start by investigating the Jagras' habitat. Find out what makes them tick, then we'll go from there.
Right. We're on it, sir.
Everyone else, you know the drill. Make sure these hunters have everything they need.
Now we're talking!
So if you think
You
about
two,
it, they've
make it a
been
priority to learn how
here.
we do
If,
things.
You heard
if
him.
the
Stick with
commission
me,
or
you'll
the
have no
fleet,
problems.
I should say, if a
The
fleet
Fifth's banner
follows
promises a change
each
in the wind. It's your
Elder
job
Dragon
to fulfill that
migration,
promise.
and the Elder Dragon migration happens
Alright,
every 10 years or
dismissed.
so. That means that it's been, what, 50 years since the first commission came in, and they don't know a lot about the Jagras, like the Jagras
Over here.
habitat? What have they been doing this whole time? Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and get our weapon. And we're going to put on our first set of armor. Now, here's the thing. I have thought it over. There were 3 different weapons that I was thinking about using for this playthrough. My last time I played through, I think I focused the light bow gun. But my favorite weapon in this entire franchise,
place some basic gear for
and
you
my
and
main
adequate buffs.
weapon, has
Make sure to
always
choose a
been
weapon
the
that suits you.
lance. It is by far and large my favorite weapon in this entire game. It is extremely strong. Let's go ahead and get our armor on. I think we're going to go under resistance. This one doesn't really matter. We're just going to put on the full leather set. This early game armor doesn't matter much. But if you look here, we've got 2 or 3 different types of armor sets. You've got the 2 base armors, which are your leather armor and your chainmail headgear. And that's the same for all the way through. But you also got a second armor set, and that is this Guardian armor. So we're going to talk about the Guardian armor real quick. This armor set was added in with the addition of Iceborne. This thing is highly overpowered. It is extremely overpowered, and the reason being is because an armor, armor progression, I should say, character progression in this game is not based off of levels. You get hunter rank as you hunt through monsters. You'll gain more hunter rank, and that will allow you to take on further content. However, your character at 100 hours in without armor is no different than your character on your first hour of playthrough. So the armor is what decides, the armor and the weapon is what decides the strength of your character. Now this was added in for Iceborne, and it was a way for people who were coming into this game for the first time to rush through the early game content, the low rank and high rank content, to get to Iceborne as fast as possible. This armor set does not add into your damage potential, but it is extremely defensive, like super, super powerful in defense. And that is because of the armor skills that are on this weapon. And the armor skills are really what decides whether or not you're going to use a armor piece or not. So if you look out onto my right side here, you will see the armor skills that are here. For example, you've got health boost level 3, recovery up level 3, marathon runner level 3, and divine blessing level 3. Now these 4 skills right here will make the early game a breeze. Health boost gives you an additional 150 health. Recovery up allows your health to recover faster. I think it's like up to 50% faster. Marathon runner makes it to where as you're running you lose 50% less stamina. And divine blessing allows for you to for the hits that hit you to be reduced in damage based off a certain percentage. Very, very strong armor set. That's why we are not going to use it. We do not want to make the game too easy for us. We are going to actually play through content and try to enjoy the game. But if you just want to kind of rush through, absolutely. Go ahead and put that armor set on, get yourself the defender weapon, and you will blast through content like it's nothing. Now the 3 weapons that I considered using, or the 3 weapons that I was considering using, were the greatsword, which is awesome early game.
Close-range weapon with low mobility but powerful attacks.
It's an awesome early beginner player weapon, but it actually has a very high skill ceiling because you actually have to understand monster mechanics fairly well to be very good at this weapon. It's one that you can easily pick up, but if you don't understand monster mechanics, you are going to get beaten up, you're going to get your attacks interrupted, and you're not going to be able to do massive damage numbers that this weapon really can pull out. The second weapon that I was choosing, not necessarily a good weapon for beginners.
A weapon that lets you charge up power and attack from medium range.
So this is kind of a mid-range weapon that allows you to kind of jump in, and it's a very mobile, like a high mobility mid-range weapon that dishes out a bunch of damage. But it does require you to be able to manage your ammo, your range, as well as your stamina fairly consistently. So it's not a very good beginner-friendly weapon. I do enjoy using the bow. It's one of my favorite weapons. However, my main is the one that we're going to use for this playthrough, and that is the lance. Now, this is a very, very defensive style weapon, but it has
to approach targets with charges and fancy footwork.
So it has a ton of aggressive properties to it, which is the reason why I like this weapon. This weapon requires you to be in the monster's face at all times. Even though it's a defensive style weapon, and it very much is, it is a very defensive weapon.
Once you're ready,
this weapon does a ton of damage and allows you to be able to be right in the monster's face the whole time.
Just talk to the housekeeper to get started.
The only reason why this weapon is so unpopular, I mentioned that this weapon is one of the 2 least popular weapons. And in my opinion, there's some arguments as to why that is, but my opinion is that the weapon is not as flashy as some of the other weapons.
The lance is a close-range weapon set with strong defensive capabilities. Guard while waiting for a chance to strike.
Okay, so we're gonna take this. We're gonna make this really quick.
With your weapon drawn. Look for the perfect moment, then fire.
We're gonna make this really quick. We're not gonna spend a whole lot of time here. So here's what we're gonna do. So the combos for the lance, super easy. All right, you got poke, 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 hop, poke, 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 hop. Now you can interject. You can poke only twice and hop if you need to adjust. You can poke once, twice, 3 times. You can do your Y is your mid thrust, which is kind of your leveled attack. Your B is your high thrust, which aims up higher. You can do a mid thrust, high thrust, mid thrust. Like, you can do any kind of combination of mid thrusts and high thrusts. As long as you understand it is 1, 2, 3, and then you have to do something in between. Okay. So the typical thing is you have two different styles of play. You've got evade lancing, which adds in hops in between your attacks to evade monster attacks and be able to pull out and continue basically stacking the combo and continuing the damage. The other option is guard lancing, and this is where I play typically. So I add in a shield and then go back into the combo. Okay, and so the guard lancing is you would hit that guard to block an attack. So a good example of that here, let's hit this barrel. And you see I was able to block the attack. Now what if I had not blocked that attack? Let's hit the barrel again. Without blocking, boom. Alright, so pushes me back, does some damage. By blocking the attack, I'm able to go back in for a counter. Now, that attack that I just did right there, that is called the power guard. Now the power guard, let's say if I go to do a guard counter attack, but I use my guard counter too early, well then I can hit that power guard and then be able to drop into a 360 guard that will block an attack from any direction. What that allows me to do is then also I can take and change the direction of my counter thrust.
Create some distance, then use a whetstone.
So by doing so, let's say the monster goes to attack me, I power guard through it, and the monster ends up behind me, well then I can just go ahead and change the direction of my counter thrust to behind me and still be able to hit the monster. So that's that. The other reason why I like the lance is because it has sticking power. Let's say the monster is staggering away and running away, and you need to chase that monster down. No other weapon has this type of dash attack ability, which allows you to chase a monster down. Now this particular dash attack has 3 stages, which adds in 3 different levels of speed. It uses stamina, so you can only run as long as you have stamina to keep going, but as you can see, it's got the ability to stack up more speed as you go along. Also, if you aim it at a wall that has a climbable surface, you climb up and then you're able to change the direction, and it's really cool. You can also do a flip 180 as well. You can do side hops. Let's say if they move out of your way, you can side hops or do side hops to be able to adjust. Very awesome weapon. The only thing is that this weapon cannot do on that dash attack is 90-degree turns. I'm sure there's some way to do it. I've not gotten very good at it. So that's what the weapon that we're going to be using. We can head back now and move on our way. Like I said before, I am in no way a master hunter. That is not a complete guide of what this weapon is capable of. It's not a comprehensive guide of what this weapon
sort
is
through the
capable
research
of.
commission's leads, and the ones they deem worth our attention.
Let's go ahead and
become
talk to
quests.
these guys. This is your stockpile, provision stockpile. You can come up here, buy potions, antidote stuff. He's going to have stuff that we're going to want later on, but nothing that we really need at the moment.
Listen up.
I'm just clearing out these quests real
Now
quick, or
that's
these the
May
exclamation
the Sapphire
points.
Star light your way.
Like I said, I am still trying to get through the fact that, I am halfway through on my Elden Ring playthrough, so all of my button presses and stuff like that is kind of geared towards wanting to try to like use my B button to dodge roll and stuff like that. And it's not going to be fun to try to transition out of that mindset. That armory, we talked about that, or they talked about that. The lady that I was talking to, you can buy weapons and armor from her. Baseline, she starts out with just a very baseline, and then as you go through, you're able to get better and better gear. I'm not going to worry about buying any food for these first 2 hunts. I may buy it for the second hunt, but not for the first hunt.
What are we waiting for? The new world awaits.
We come up here to the handler, and so we can use her to post quests, optional or main quests, and then be able to get those started. Now you can also use the billboard down there and the billboard over there. However, in this first quest you have to talk to the handler directly, and then there are other quest lines later on that to continue on the quest you will have to talk to her as well. So, first hunt, we're going to go slay some Jagras, which are those little reptilian things that we saw when we first came into those worlds.
Alright, this is our first job. Rule number 1, complete the objective to complete the quest. Each quest has an objective. You can't consider the quest done. Our current objective is to eliminate a specified number of Jagras. Let's check the map. We ran into some Jagras on the way to base. The small monsters, remember? I think we saw them somewhere around here. Want to check it out? Rule number 2, use the supply box. The Commission supplies us with a loadout of certain items for each quest. They're in the supply box over there. Have a look and decide what you should take along.
So it's always beneficial to check the supply box. The only time that there's not going to be anything in here is when we go on expeditions, which we will talk about here in a little bit. Also, you got to understand this game is a pack rats game. Like, you want to grab everything. Everything you see, you grab it, because all of those items are going to be useful to you
Keep in mind that what you're able to do depends on whether or not your weapon is drawn.
The way that I'm supposed to go is off in that direction.
You'll generally want to keep your weapon sheathed.
I'm going to go partially in this direction, but I'm not going to go completely in this direction because I want to gather a few materials to be able to get some early upgrades for our weapon as well as for our armor. He's going to make me go that way, isn't he? Let's see here. Nope. Okay, good. So yeah, we're going to do some early gatherings. This is a mining node. In the mining node, you're going to be able to find iron ore and malachite ore in this beginning area. Iron ore is what you need to upgrade your weapon to the Iron Lance 2. Stop making me go turn that way. Herbs turn into potions. Honey and potions turn into mega potions. Which brings me to this. Let's actually go to our crafting list. We don't want to auto craft the mega potions, so we're going to turn that off. And the reason being is because we want to be able to use the... Ooh, someone said over here. Do I have my chat turned on? Okay, let me see something real quick. I want to make sure that they're not hearing me.
Over here!
Let me see here. Is it under options? Audio. Voice chat is off. Okay, so yeah, they can't hear me. Cool. We're offline right now anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so,
over here!
Yeah, so you don't want to auto-craft your potions. Like, mega potions are very helpful, but eventually you're going to want to be able to save that honey for other things as well. And if you're crafting mega potions every time that you pick up honey, you're not going to save any of that honey for yourself. So we'll grab this mining outcrop here, but specifically I want that bone pile down there. Now there is a bone pile over here with the Jagras, but between the two bone piles that you can get over there, it's never enough to make the armor that we want to make. So we're going to go ahead and do this. Hopefully we can do it without getting attacked. Perfect. screw that there.
Over
Let's
here.
go to where he's at. And then we'll be able to fight our first couple joggers. It is kind of annoying, the over here. I wish I could turn that off, but unfortunately I cannot. Not that I know of, at least.
Over here!
Alright, so we're going to come over here and we're going to fight our first group of joggers.
A pack of Jagras. Those are the monsters we're after.
Let's see how you hold up when you're on your own.
One attack I didn't show is this sweep attack. This is good for when you have multiple monsters in front of you. It doesn't deal a whole lot of damage, but it does kind of sweep in front of you, which will deal damage against
Don't let them get away.
grouped up
monster
monsters like
materials
that.
You can use them at the smithy.
The only problem with that attack is that you can't do like multiple sweeps together without an attack input in the middle. So if you did like a sweep, mid-thrust sweep, or a sweep, high-thrust sweep, that's perfectly fine. You can do that. But you can't stack multiples of them together. So grabbing that other bone pile, this other ore node. Unfortunately, we've not seen any ancient bones yet. We need to get a couple of those for the for the gear that we want. So if you saw the recovery time there, it's kind of slow if you don't put an input in the middle.
Dodge their attacks. Don't forget, you can
So you
guard
got to make
too.
sure that you're putting either a hop or a guard in between the attacks, so as not to spend a whole bunch of time just standing there waiting for your attacks to reset.
Let's head home and report back to the old man.
Your attack animation to reset. Alright, let's grab this bone pile first, because the bone pile is more important than the Jagras. There's an ancient bone, that's one. There's two. So we at least got two. That might help. That's going to help us. Now we can get these Jagras. That pulls into this. So if you look at the timer up at the top, let's say you're doing a quest. Anytime you complete a quest that requires you to kill a monster, you will get 60 seconds, a full minute, to gather any materials after you've beat the monster, to gather any materials in the area. So you've got a full 60 seconds, 1 minute. Now, if for instance, instead of killing the monster, you capture the monster, then it only gives you 20 seconds to gather anything in the area. And the reason that is because you cannot you cannot carve a captured monster. So you get extra materials as a bonus for capturing a monster than you do killing a monster, and the reason why you get that is because you cannot, you're locked out of those 3 carves. So by actual efficiency standards, it's always better to capture a monster than it is to kill a monster.
And listen up.
But to capture a monster, you need materials that we do not yet have.
Now that you've got some materials, why don't we head over to the smithy to see what you can do with them?
Alright, so yeah, now that we have materials, we can go ahead and get some upgrades. So let's go do that first.
Oh,
Talk to her. She says we can go up to the gathering hub. Give me 1 second. What? Okay, sorry about that. I had to do some parenting things real quick. So yeah, she's saying we can go up to the gathering hub. We don't need to go up to the gathering hub, but we can use these lifts to go up to like the workshop, the canteen, so on and so forth. Now I don't know if it's a shorter amount of time just because of the cutscene or anything. But
There you are, fighter.
Alright, so now we can upgrade our equipment, and we're going to go ahead and upgrade our lance to the next set. I talked about the Defender armor. These are Defender weapons. Now, these Defender weapons are extremely strong, just like the armor is. As you can see, the weapon that we have right now, 184 attack damage, minor green sharpness, okay? 299 attack damage with a lot of green sharpness, as well as having the blast element. These things are phenomenal. Again, we're not going to use it because we like to make things difficult for ourselves. So we're going to upgrade to the Iron Lance 2, which gives us a 20 damage increase and gives us a little bit of green sharpness. I think it's like 23 damage increase. So yeah, that's what we can do for our weapon. Now let's go ahead and make ourselves some armor. Because you need to upgrade this armor immediately. And my recommendation is to build as much of the bone set as you can. So I am going to focus on these first two pieces. The headpiece, which gives us the armor skill for health boost. And then I'm going to build the chest piece, which gives us the armor skill for attack boost. Now this attack boost is actually fairly decent. So if you saw when we were making the weapons, the weapon that I just made has a 207 attack with the +3 attack boost that brings our weapon attack up to 214. So that's pretty intense. And then the health boost here gives us, let's go ahead, let's do the equipment info. The health boost here gives us a +15 to our health. So I was wrong before. The health boost does not do a +150. At level 3 it gives you a +50 to our health, which gives us a maximum of 150 health. So okay, now we've got the headpiece and the chest piece. We are going to set this up to where when we are doing cutscenes, the helmet is not on, because that is kind of annoying. So let's see here. What's that under? Is that under? It's not under display, is it? No, it's not under display. It should be under... Oh, head armor. There we go. Hide in cutscenes only. If we're going to use if we're going to have the eye candy, we might as well be able to see the eye candy. Am I right? Exclamation point. Let's go over here.
Greetings.
He's just the air fleet engineer. He's just introducing himself. He's going to be the guy who sets up certain things for us later on. Go talk to the Meowster chef. He's going to have a quest for us to do, which will unlock some ingredients for us. Let's go ahead. That's done. That's done. What's that one down there? Oh, that's the ecologist. We'll talk to him in a little bit. So let's go ahead and grab ourselves some food. I'm just going to use the Chef Choice platter. We don't have enough ingredients, and we can't do a full meal set yet, so the Chef Choice platter is just better overall. The Chef Choice platter will prioritize fresh ingredients, which gives us a health and stamina boost.
Hey there, partner. Ah!
We'll talk to her. She's going to say we can go to the
pick up
mission
quests from
boards
the quest
instead of
board,
talking
too.
to her as well.
It lists the same quest that I've got, so don't worry about having to check 2 places.
We're getting up to an hour, so
We're
we're going
on
to
the
do
hunt.
this hunt, which actually will turn into 2 hunts. And then from there, we'll probably call it. Accept the quest. just gonna reset my items here. Ooh, that reminds me, that's something that we can do. Do we want to do that for this next time? We might as well. So you don't have to do this, but I do. It's very beneficial to us to capture monsters. You're gonna get more. It's more efficient. You're gonna get more. You're gonna get more materials from captured monsters. So you might as well go ahead and do it. Now to capture monsters, you have to have a trap tool. So we're gonna go ahead and we'll buy a bunch of these trap tools. As many as we can possibly get without going overboard. And while we're down here, we might as well talk to this guy. Now, you still need other stuff to be able to trap monsters, and we're going to gather some of those stuffs as we come along for this Kestodon hunt.
I'll be here.
Now, you can only capture large monsters, you cannot capture small monsters, so the Kestodons themselves you cannot capture, but there's going to be a large monster hunt directly after that that we can capture on. So again, like I said before,
our job
check
is
the
to
box,
cull a certain number of Kestodon.
grab
Recently,
some
their numbers
items.
have been getting out of hand.
Want to get
We're
going?
going to go ahead and use a ration. We only need to use one because we did eat. And always, always, always gather materials. We're going to go a little bit out of our way here because we're going to fight these Kestodons here, but we're going to go out of our way to gather some materials to make the hunt directly after the Kestodon a little bit easier.
Ah, there we are. Those, my friend, are Kestodon. Let's see you take him out on your own. Be careful.
Now, Kestodon are actually deceptively strong. These big male ones specifically are kind of scary at this early stage. The reason being is because they do a charge attack with their big shield bashing heads that does a ton of damage. These females, they can do kind of like a shoulder tackle, but they don't do a whole lot. They're not that bad. You just don't want to let yourself get surrounded by
Not bad.
because they will get you and they will do a deceptive amount of damage. Make sure you're carving these creatures here, these Kestodon, because we actually want.
Let's look for another group.
We actually want the.
The Kestodon are the least of your worries. There are a lot bigger monsters lurking in this forest.
There is
Be careful.
a arm piece, like a arm armor.
The
that
endemic
you can
life
get
around here
off
can
of
come in
these
handy during a
Kestodon,
hunt. Try to learn as much as you can about
will
them.
give us a small damage increase upgrade that we want. So yeah, we're gonna go this way. We're gonna grab the herb here, grab the honey here. We're going the opposite, like he wanted us to go that way. We're not going to go that way just yet because we want to gather these materials. Specifically, you want to grab that parashroom. We'll grab this mining outcrop while we're here. You may have to kill a couple of Godras just to get them to run away and leave them alone. It's not a big deal as long as you don't like getting swamped. That's two of them dead. They're going to run away now. They're not going to want to fight anymore. And we can grab this bone pile here. But specifically, we wanted that parashroom up there. The bone pile and the...
Over here!
This is another parashroom. Grab that. The bone pile and the mining node were... We're just kind of extra things that were beneficial to us. We're gonna, like I said, we're going a little bit out of the way just to get a few things here. We're gonna come up here, grab
Over here!
Another piece of honey, and this sleep herb. Now with the sleep herb and the parashroom, that gives us the ability to make trank bombs. So to trap a monster, you only need, or you need to be able, first you need to have a trap. But to capture a monster, you need a trap and you need trank bombs. Now, trank bombs are made from
Over here!
perish rooms and sleep herbs. And then you need to be able to trank the monster with 2 trank bombs. Now, to be able to trap the monster, you need to have the materials to do so. So we've already got the trap tool. That's one of the items that is necessary. The other item that we need is going to be up. You can find one up this way.
Over here!
So we are going kind of out of the way to be able to do this, but it's going to be beneficial for us. I think getting the 3 of them that are over here is better than getting the 1 of them that's a little bit closer to here. Oop, we didn't want to go all the way down, did we? No, this is fine. Yeah, we're fine. Okay, so the Kestodon that they want us to fight...
Over here!
Oh, I did go out of the way. Oh well. I did go too far down. So the Kestodon that he wants us to fight are back over that way. We're not going to do that just yet. Instead, we're going to come up over this way.
Be careful.
I know this seems kind of crazy, like we're going out of our way by quite a bit to be able to do this, but the great Jogress that we're going to fight in a few moments, we want to have certain pieces of his that we can carve from him, so as to be able to make his waist piece. So the more materials we get from him, the better, the higher chance we're going to be able to do it off of just 1 hunt instead of having to do multiple hunts of him. Oops. So we're going to grab these thunderbugs here. And that is going to allow us to craft the traps. Oop, I missed the jump. There was 1 more thunderbug up there that we could have gotten. But that's okay. Now we can craft the shock trap. Now you can only carry 1 trap of each type at a time. So having 1 shock trap and then 1 pitfall trap. While we're at it, let's go ahead and kill this if it's down. I would rather kill this while it's down. Ooh, it dropped. Don't you get up in the air. That way we can get the wing drake hides early.
Over here!
Because we are going to need them anyway. The other one probably took off, right? Yep, okay. Alright, let's go ahead and sharpen our weapon, and then we'll go on to hunt the rest of these Kestodon. We have our trank bombs, we have our shock traps, so as soon as we finish with the Kestodon, we'll be able to take on the next monster afterwards.
Huh.
So there's the Kestodon. Again, I would recommend taking out the male first. They are the most dangerous. There's that charge attack. Oh. My sharpness is down too low right now. Both the males down.
Good work.
And we finished the female.
That just about wraps up our work here.
So we're gonna go ahead and
Hey,
carve
come
real
here.
quick, because again,
Think I
we
found
want
something.
those Kestodon parts. I recommend starting with the monsters that you killed first, that way they don't disappear on you. We're probably not going to be able to get all the Kestodon and then the bone pile before we get pulled up there. We're going to try, but I doubt it. Oh, we might be up to
Over
one.
here!
Oh, we can only get one.
Here. Look at those Kestodon. Something's up with them.
And now we get our first medium monster. It's technically a large monster hunt, but it's not really a large monster.
Now!
So he's telling us we need to take down the Great Jagras.
All
Let's
right,
go
partner.
get the rest of that
New
bone
assignment
pile real
incoming.
fast.
Take down that Great Jagras.
And then
If
we'll
you're
go
not
fight
ready,
the Great Jagras.
you can return to base and take on the Great Jagras quest later.
Want to get going?
See the
You need to
fish
call
in
your
there, we're going
friends
to
for
talk
help.
about them
Go to the
at a
menu
later
and select
episode.
SOS Flare to signal.
Pretty
And
sure
you're
the
going
next
to need
episode we're gonna
friends
talk
when you
to
go up
them.
against some of the tougher
We're going to talk
monsters.
about
In order for the scout flies to better track a target monster, you need to keep finding traces of
Got
it.
the hiccups.
Like footprints, for example.
Alright, now it's time to track down that Great Jagras. We've sharpened our weapon. We've got our potions. I don't know why it's acting like we don't know what the monster these tracks are from. We literally just saw him. Grab
Good.
this.
You're turning up a lot of clues.
We gotta go down here. Down into here. We grab these nitro shrooms. And hello, Mr.
You're less likely to
Jogger.
lose sight of a monster if you use the focus camera. Letting a monster fly into a wall will leave it wide open to attack. You can move around while grappled to a monster.
What I did there
Burn
is
through
called
your
a
stuff.
shot. I just basically jumped on
See?
his face, used the
Once you
clutch
hit it,
ball, and made him run like the wall. That gives them,
Dodge their attacks.
that's crazy.
Don't
I should
forget
have
you
been
can
able to
guard
that.
too.
So basically what that
Hit it with your claw.
was it allowed me openings where I was where the monster was struggling on the ground, he wasn't moving around a whole bunch. I was able to get off some higher than normal damage. And then what I did afterwards is I jumped on his face, using the clutch ball, and then I tenderized him. What that does is it makes the
Watch out when a monster's in range. It's better to hold off with your claw until things calm down a
specific
bit.
part of the monster. It allows
Oh
you
boy,
to do
that
higher
monster's really mad
damage
now.
against
Be
the
ready for
monster,
some vicious attacks.
as well as makes it where you're not going to bounce against the monster part that's tenderized. So you'll still bounce if your weapon part is low, but not as good without. Now that tenderizing aspect is something that's going to be very important later on. Weakness exploit, which is a skill that
When monsters are running
relies
away,
on
use the scout
the
flies as a guide and they'll lead you
tenderized
right to
parts of
them.
monsters. Very, very
That's a
good
piercing
for the
pod,
lance.
a
That's how
powerful
you
type of
get your
slinger ammo.
affinity way up
That's able to
there.
pierce the thick shell of monsters.
And you're able to get your affinity
use
up
that as
to
slinger
the
ammo.
highest
Great for getting a monster's attention or
the
creating a
100%,
distraction.
which allows for like critical hits on every single attack, which is really nice. And you can only hit that with weakness exploit. So let's go ahead and whetstone. Sharpen our weapon again. The lance will probably have to be sharpened quite often. It's unfortunately, sharpness is something that when you're doing consistent attacks like we're doing, when you're doing like a guarantee like 1, 2, 3 hop, 1, 2, 3 hop, you're gonna burn through your sharpness pretty quickly. And it's just good practice to sharpen in between each drum that you have to.
Yeah. We've mounted the monster. Now's your chance to topple it.
So what happened? So first of all, what happened there is I attacked him as I was doing the jumping animation, which did enough mounting damage to mount us onto the monster. When you get mounted onto the monster, you start stabbing the monster.
Okay, it's down.
Repetitively.
Now's your chance to
And
get
when
in
you
there
do
and tear it
that,
up.
It you gotta be careful with kill him. What I call it. Being able to recapture it. So I don't want to do too much damage. So that tripping is kind of a similar situation that when you smack him into a wall, he falls to the ground and see, I didn't want to do that. But the skull never showed
Let's head
up.
back and report to the old man.
Oh well. That's unfortunate. I don't like it when the skull doesn't show up. Thankfully, like as long as we get, I think as long as we get one main, then we'll get the materials. Well, there shouldn't be any reason why we don't have the materials to be able to make the gear that we need off of this. I think the hardest material to get is the main, and once we got the main, we're alright. So yeah, that tripping, when you hop on the back of a monster, it allows for you to get that trip attack in, which allows you to deal more damage. The lance is a very good weapon to mount monsters because
I think we got a lead.
you can actually mount off of your own power, kind of like the insect glaive. The insect glaive is obviously the master of mounting.
Maybe.
But with the
Let's
lance,
check it out.
when you go to do your dash attack stance, like when you're running through and you're doing your dash attack, if you jump in the middle of that dash attack and your landing attacks, all of that damage becomes mounting damage.
Hey.
And once you reach a certain threshold, you mount on the back of the monster and you're able to get it to trip.
Well, you were right. There's our mark.
The Puke. We're gonna need the lance base, or the lance.
Something's
from
got
this
him
guy,
agitated.
So we may end up having to farm him.
Look over there. What in the heck is that?
We don't really need the lance
I've
from
never seen
him,
anything
but
like
it's
it.
a pretty good lance.
You
So
think
we're-
it's from Zora Magdaros?
I'd like to find out. But we better report back first. All right?
It is, I believe, the best in slot poison lance, and poison is pretty strong in this game. Alright, so yeah, we should have plenty of the materials needed. So it wasn't super important that we captured the Jagras. The next monster, however, we definitely want to capture.
I see.
Because the next monster gives us a armor upgrade as well as a weapon upgrade. So we're going to need plenty of materials
you can go after
to be able to do that. They're going to send us off to go do the camp. He wants us to go talk to the resource center first. Before we do that, we are going to go ahead and upgrade our armor.
That reminds me.
Should be able to do 2 armor upgrades here.
Oh!
So the first armor piece that we are going to pick up is going to be the Kestodon Guards. This adds in a skill called Affinity Sliding. This increases our affinity by 30% for a short time after sliding. You slide everywhere in this game. So that increased 30% affinity means that 30% of the time that we're attacking, we're going to be getting critical hits. Very, very beneficial. Always, 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 we're going to take that. I'm not going to go so far as to say that's probably best in slot. I don't think it is. But every weapon type wants to at least have these for these first couple hunts. The next one we're going to take is this Fortify Coil. Fortify is basically you increase your attack by 10% and your defense by 15% every time you cart. Now, I'm not going to try to cart in this game, but it's been a while since I played this game, and I'm not quite used to I'm still getting back to being used to the inputs, and so there may be a chance where I end up carting. So having those fortified greaves is going to be very beneficial to help us. If we cart, we get more damage and more defense. It's that easy. Now we'll go back down to the trade yard. We'll talk to the commander, and then we'll talk to the research team.
How are you feeling? Ha!
Now the research team is going to have us do some things. These are going to be called bounties.
Too good to me.
Now what these are passive quests.
Don't let me down.
So you've got your active quests, which are where you're actually going and doing things. Like you're fighting a monster, you're hunting a specific monster. These are passive quests. Now these passive quests are just things that you're doing while you're out anyway. And you get rewards for doing them. So like, for example, we've got field research bone piles. We're going to be mining bone piles anyway, so why not just go ahead and grab these so that we get the benefit of doing these on top of that. Same goes with flora, mining out crops, killing small monsters, and then capturing large monsters. We're going to be doing all that kind of stuff anyway.
Okay,
might as well
let's get
go
this
ahead
expedition
and
underway.
get the extra
Meet me at the
benefits
gate.
from that.
Good luck.
Okay, now we're going to manage our items a little bit here, and we're going to talk about early game loadouts. First of all, we're not using bows, bow guns, or anything like that, so there is no need to have these.
You can embark on an expedition just by heading out through the gate.
I'm going to go ahead and take
Or you
these
can use
off.
the world map. Whatever's easiest for you.
Okay, so very first thing that let's do this. And, oh, yep, auto sword. Okay, so very first thing that we're going to worry about. Okay, potions. Always want to have potions on you, but you don't want to carry too many because you're going to pick up herbs all over the place. So having 4 potions on you is perfectly fine. When you pick up the herbs, they automatically get made into potions, and therefore you're going to be able to get yourself up to 10 potions, no problem at all. Mega potions, typically I would want to go more than 2. Let's see here. Let's go over our crafting list. We can actually go ahead and make up some mega potions. so I would recommend at least carrying 4 mega potions as well. Again, honey, you can pretty much find honey all over the place, and you'll be able to turn that honey into mega potions as you need them. Antidotes, I would again carry 4 of them. The reason why is because antidote herbs are easy to find all over the place, and they automatically turn into antidotes for you. So it's just, there's no need to carry more than that, especially in these early hunts. Over here, I would carry your trap and your tranq bombs. I would typically try to carry 4, but since we only have 4, I'm only going to carry 2. You only need 2 tranq bombs after you have trapped the monster for the monster to be captured. Now, if you screw up the tranq or you're not fast enough on the tranq, then you can waste those tranq bombs, which is why I would typically carry 4 of them with me. But we don't necessarily need that. Thunderbug, we don't need to carry that with us. That's if we need to make another trap. Sometimes it's useful. We don't necessarily need to do that right now. Ration, I mean, I wouldn't carry more than 2. You get easy ration at the beginning of every hunt in the hunter box. It's only in the expeditions that you don't get that, which is why I'm going to carry 1 or 2 with me this hunt. Because I want to be able to get my stamina up, and we're getting ready to go on an expedition, so we're not going to be able to have that easy ration available to us. Also, you can kill those small monsters, get raw meat, and cook you up a well done steak, and you're going to be fine anyway. Okay, so with that
Right now,
done,
we're in a stair.
we are at an
If you want to
hour
go
and
on an
22
expedition,
minutes.
open your world map
We
and choose
could
your
do this
destination. For this
expedition,
expedition,
but I
we need to head to
feel
the ancient
like-
forest. We can expand expeditions as we delve further into the new world. Pretty good incentive to explore, right?
Let him finish. Okay, so we could go ahead and we could do this expedition, but it'll put us over our hour-and-a-half maximum, so I don't want to do that. We're going to wait and do that on the next video. So if you enjoy the content, please leave me a like and subscribe. Let me know if you want to see me do the extra farming stuff, like where we're fighting monsters again and again to make sure that we're able to get the materials that we need. If that's something that you guys are okay with, then I will go ahead and keep that in. If not, please let me know, and we will just do that. We will do that off camera. Maybe we'll do that as like a Twitch stream or something. So thank you guys again so much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Bye.